Every now and then, someone will come into one of my Twitch streams and ask, how long have I been playing Lord of the Rings Online? Now, without hesitation, I'll proudly say since 2007, and that I'm a Shadows of Angmar OG, or some other type of similar response. Now that question is usually followed up by something like, is it worth getting into, or is it fun? Now I got a pretty standard response for these questions that sounds something like this. If you like MMOs, it's a good game. If you like Lord of the Rings, it's a good game. And if you like both, it's a great game. But once in a while, someone will ask the real question. Why do I keep playing LOTRO after all these years? In this video, I'm going to do my best to answer this question as best I can. Now before we jump in, I want to share some info about the channel. I've been diving into some of the analytics and I've noticed that over 70% of the people viewing these videos aren't subscribed. If you're not currently subscribed, take a second to hit that button. It really does help out the channel. I think that one of the biggest reasons that I play Lord of the Rings Online is because it's Lord of the Rings. The game is oftentimes referred to as one of the truest adaptations of Tolkien's work. Now, I had never really read any of the text from Tolkien until I had seen Fellowship of the Ring back in 2001. And I can say I was genuinely hooked on the franchise from the first viewing. Now I find myself engrossing myself in whatever Middle-earth content I can seem to get my hands on. Now it may seem really cheesy, but being able to walk around Middle-earth and experience places that you've seen in the movies or read about in the books is a rather unique experience. There's been something compelling about running around in places like Rivendell and quoting Hugo Weaving as Elrond saying,
"Welcome to Rivendell, Frodo Baggins."
Or getting absolutely lost in Moria, quoting Ian McKellen as Gandalf saying,
I have no memory of this place.
Linking experiences from in-game to ones from the movies, books, even to the extent of the new show, make it all the more enjoyable to just log in and run around for a bit. But the IP can only do so much and carry the game so far. I've said many times that if this game was just generic fantasy MMORPG, that it probably would have folded years ago and life would certainly be a little different from the one I know now. Now, if I'm being 100% honest with myself and you, another decently large reason I continue playing the game is simply validating the amount of time I've already spent in the game. At one point a couple years ago, I had looked at my /played on all of the characters I had at the time, and it was over 13,000 hours. I think investing that much time into anything makes it hard to simply give it up, even if whatever that thing is good. Part of the time investment is that there's almost always something to do. Whether your main still needs work on a couple pieces of gear or you're working on your 19th alt, something almost always creates an itch that must be scratched when it comes to this game. And so the time just keeps accumulating. Along with time investment comes a sense of accomplishment. Having been in the game the whole time, I've been a part of a lot of special moments. Many raid completions and epic PvMP fights out in the Ettenmoors. And even though I tend to cap out around tier 3 raids these days, and still haven't rank capped a tune out in the Ettenmoors, it doesn't lessen what I do feel I have accomplished in the game overall. Knowing that there is still more content always on the horizon for LOTRO leaves me also knowing that there will be more to accomplish. Kind of along the same lines of the time and sense of accomplishment is a sense of nostalgia. LOTRO has been creating and running new legendary servers what seems like every couple of years now, and even against my better judgment, I seem to get roped into these servers as well. There's something about a fresh start server that just triggers an insane amount of nostalgia for me. Maybe it's because so many people are in the early game that it's just full of players and the market hasn't been destroyed yet, or just that each quest completion feels like going back in time 17 years when I had less cares and responsibilities. You know, kind of like going from Gondor with all of its wars and political strife back to the Shire where the biggest issue is a rotten pie delivery. Something else about nostalgia that I think about when I experience it is just remembering that you did something. And I know that sounds probably kind of weird, but it's just really a cool feeling, one that I look forward to recreating every couple of years. I think that's what really drives home the nostalgia, time, and accomplishment pieces is the curiosity of what is to come. We will get to see places like Rune, or the Grey Havens, or even the other half of Mordor. Probably. Maybe. That curiosity may actually just be a misguided case of fear of missing out. But I think they are really the same thing, just with different connotations. If I'm ever frustrated with a game, the excitement comes rushing back at the announcement of a new expansion or content update. I immediately want to log in and experience it as fast as possible. I want the game to do well so that I can experience those things that are still on the horizon. Who knows what or when it will be, and that's kind of the fun part for me. Lastly, I think I still play LOTRO because of the people. There are a ton of people that make the game fun and interesting. Even with old content we have played a million times over, having just joined back up with some people I haven't played with for a few years on the Angmar Legendary server, it's been a blast and I look forward to logging in and just getting to play with them. Truly, I wish I could go back and play with all the great people I've played with over the 17 years of the game. There are so many people that I really do miss spending time with in the game, and if they happen to be watching this video, come on back in. The right people really do make the experience of any gaming situation better. You could be doing the most epic raid run ever, or just hanging out doing Slayer deeds talking, and it's still just a great time. I'm very fortunate to have made a lot of lifelong friends that I get to meet in person every couple of years, some that came down to my wedding back in 2009, or even people that interact in Twitch chat or comment on these videos. A game doesn't need to be a Game of the Year contender for it to create and foster friendships. It just needs to be a place where you can come together, no matter where you are in the world, have some laughs, and have some fun. So there you have it. Those are the reasons I still play LOTRO after 17 years. The franchise itself, the nostalgia, the time invested, the sense of accomplishment and curiosity, and last but not least, the people. Now, if you're still playing LOTRO now, let me know in the comments why. I would love to hear what keeps you going. Now, if you hung out through this whole video, thank you for watching, and please consider subscribing if you haven't already, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care.